They told her to stand back, until the helicopter pilot saluted her first. They told her to stand back like she was nobody, until the helicopter pilot landed, saw her face, and saluted like he'd just seen a ghost he once served under. The crew froze. The alarm stopped, and the ocean went silent, because something beneath the ship woke up the moment she arrived. And whatever it wasn't coming for the Navy. It was coming for her. She didn't draw attention when she stepped onto the flight deck of the USS Horizon. No uniform, no insignia, just a quiet woman in a windbreaker, hair tied back, standing at the edge of the roaring deck, like she'd been there 1,000 times before. The crew barely glanced at her. To them, she was nobody, another visitor, another observer, someone to keep away from the dangerous parts of naval operations. "Ma'am, stand back," one petty officer called over the noise of the rotors. "This isn't a place for civilians." She nodded, stepped aside, and watched silently as the horizon shimmered with salt and heat. A helicopter was approaching, an MH-60 skimming low over the ocean, blades chopping the air like a heartbeat. The sun glared off its cockpit, painting the glass in streaks of gold. The crew prepared for landing, shouting commands through the storm of wind and engine roar. Everyone was focused. Everyone was ready. Except her. She didn't look nervous. She didn't look excited. She watched that helicopter like she knew it, like she recognized something no one else could see. Lieutenant Marshall nudged a deckhand. "Who is she?" "No idea," the deckhand said. "Some contractor. Supposed to be auditing flight logs." Marshall frowned. "Then why is she standing like she's waiting for that helicopter?" As the chopper descended, the wind hammered the deck. Dust, salt, and loose paper lifted into the air. Crew members shielded their eyes. Everyone but her. She stared forward without blinking. The landing officers moved her back again. "Ma'am, you must step behind the line." But she didn't move far. A strange tension pulled at her posture, like she was bracing for a moment no one else knew was coming. The helicopter touched down with a metallic thud. Rotors slowed. Engines whined down. But something was off. The pilot didn't power down fully. The co-pilot didn't unbuckle. No one exited the aircraft. Instead, the cockpit windshield turned toward her. The pilot froze. Then, went completely still. "Why isn't he getting out?" Marshall muttered. "This isn't procedure." A comms officer raised a brow. "Sir, he's requesting identification." "For who?" The officer swallowed. "For the woman on deck." Marshall blinked. He doesn't even know who she is. But he was wrong. The pilot knew exactly who she was. The rotors came to a halt. The pilot stepped out slowly, like a man approaching a ghost he never expected to see again. Then, before anyone could comprehend it, he stood at attention. Not to the admiral, not to the deck chief, to her. The entire crew froze. The wind quieted. The ocean's roar seemed to dim. Every sailor turned their heads in disbelief. The pilot's salute was sharp, precise, military perfection. A salute reserved only for someone of highest authority, someone no longer in service. "Ma'am," he said, voice shaken but firm, "requesting permission to disembark." The deck fell silent. The officer beside Marshall whispered, "Who the hell is she?" She didn't answer. She didn't return the salute. Instead, she took a small step backward, almost as if the recognition hurt. The pilot lowered his hand, but didn't break posture. "I thought you were gone," he said, voice trembling. "Everyone thought you were gone." The crew exchanged confused, uneasy glances. Gone? Dead? Missing? She looked away, jaw tightening. "I wasn't supposed to be found," she said quietly. Everything shifted. The crew, the officers, even the seagulls overhead, seemed to pause. A faint alarm sounded in the distance. Not a siren, not a warning. a tone no one recognized. The pilot's eyes widened. "Is it following you?" Her silence was answer enough. A comms tech on the upper deck shouted, "Sir, we're receiving a signal, encrypted, not Navy format." Marshall snapped, "Source?" The tech hesitated. "It's coming from the ocean, beneath us." The deck vibrated. A deep rumble pulsed through the steel. So subtle only she reacted. Her head lifted. Her eyes narrowed. The pilot whispered, "It woke up, didn't it?" She didn't blink. "It always wakes up when I return to sea." Sailors backed away from the ship railings as the vibration grew stronger. Steady, rhythmic, like a heartbeat under the waves. Marshall ran to the edge and peered down. What the hell is that? The water below was shifting into a slow, deliberate spiral. Not a whirlpool. Not turbulence. Something massive was rising. The pilot stepped closer to her. "Ma'am, you knew this would happen." "I didn't want it to," she whispered. The deck alarm blared. Officers scrambled towards the stations, orders echoed across the ship. But she didn't move. Her eyes stayed locked on the ocean surface. A dark shape surfaced beneath the waves. Smooth, metallic, silent, larger than any known aircraft or submersible. The helicopter pilot's voice cracked. "It's responding to you." Marshall shouted at her. "What is that thing? Why is it here?" Her breath trembled. "It's here," she said softly, "because it was built for one purpose." The dark shape rose higher, water cascading off its curved surface. "To find me." The shape beneath the waves kept rising, silent, deliberate, as if the ocean itself were holding its breath. Steel groaned under the USS Horizon. Crew members stumbled as the deck shivered again. Not from impact, but recognition. The woman did not move. The pilot stood beside her, posture rigid, eyes locked on the forming silhouette in the water. "It shouldn't have found you this fast," he whispered. "It never lost me," she replied. The surface broke open. A vessel unlike anything in naval records emerged, black as midnight, smooth as glass, its hull curving with unnatural precision. No markings, no lights. Only a single seam running its length, pulsing with a low silver glow. Even the ocean foam seemed to avoid touching it. Sailors scrambled back. Marshall yelled over the alarms. "Battle stations! Defensive posture!" The moment he said the word defensive, every screen on the deck sparked violently. Consoles flickered, radios blared with static. Then, all at once, the Horizon's entire command system shut down. Dead. Not a single weapon, radar, or engine responded. The ship had gone silent in the presence of the thing rising before it. The pilot exhaled shakily. "It's overriding us, same as before." Marshall spun toward him. "Before? Before what? What do you two know that we don't?" She finally spoke. "They built this craft to track one operator, only one, and it will not leave until I answer." The vessel finished surfacing, towering beside the horizon like a monolith. A straight vertical line formed along its hull, glowing brighter, brighter, until it split open. Not with hydraulic noise. Not with machinery, with silent, perfect movement. A ramp extended from the glowing entrance. Mist spilled out, curling across the waves like breath from something alive. Inside the opening, faint silhouettes waited, tall, still, watching her. The pilot stepped forward. "Ma'am, they aren't here to escort you." "I know," she whispered. "They're here to reclaim you." Marshall's voice cracked. "Reclaim? You're a civilian." She turned toward him, and for the first time since stepping onto the deck, he saw fear beneath her calm. "I wasn't always." Lights along the horizon flickered again. Engines tried to restart. Failed. Alarms attempted to re-engage. Failed. The ship remained powerless, obedient to the silent titan beside it. The figures inside the vessel stepped into view, armored, featureless, lit from behind by cold white light. One lifted a hand, an unmistakable gesture, a summoning. The pilot grabbed her arm. "You don't have to go." She shook her head. "If I don't, they'll drag this entire ship down to force me." The ocean beneath them churned with a sudden, violent pull, the vessel's gravitational wake tightening like a fist. The horizon groaned, tilting slightly toward the black craft. Marshall shouted to the crew, "Brace! Brace for—" She raised a hand, and the pressure stopped. Not eased, stopped. The figures in the opening froze. The pilot stared at her. "You still have command access?" "Barely," she said. "But enough." She took a slow breath and stepped forward, wind tugging at her hair, the entire crew watching her like she was walking toward an execution. Halfway to the railing, she paused. The pilot called after her, voice breaking. "Tell us the truth. Why does it follow you?" She didn't turn around. "Because I was its first operator, and its final assignment was to retrieve me, alive or dead." The deck went silent. The air felt heavy. She approached the railing. The vessel's ramp extended further, aligning perfectly with her path, as if calculating each of her footsteps in advance. Then, for the first time since it surfaced, the vessel spoke. A deep resonant hum vibrated through the air, shaping itself into a voice that felt less like sound and more like memory. "Primary Commander Lena Cross, return to program." The crew stared. Marshall whispered, "Your name isn't the one you gave us." She finally turned back, meeting the pilot's eyes. "It hasn't been for a long time." She stepped onto the ramp. The vessel brightened, welcoming, claiming, swallowing her in its cold light. Before disappearing inside, she said one last thing, her voice steady, but heavy with a truth she had carried alone for years. "Tell your admiral the horizon was never in danger. Only I was." The ramp closed silently behind her. The black vessel slid back into the ocean without a ripple, sinking with impossible grace, taking her into the abyss. The moment it vanished, the horizon roared back to life. Power surged, engines restarted, weapons rearmed, wind returned, life returned. Marshall stared at the empty waters. What was she? The pilot removed his helmet, eyes hollow. She was the reason that thing was built. He swallowed hard. And now, she's the reason it won't stop.